أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي رب زدنا علما وفهما أجمعين. So this is series 3 of our research activity. So quickly, because of our time, this is the research report stage. As we have said, report is the last phase of the general research activity, not data presentation. Data presentation is just part of it, and that is precisely in chapter 4. So after presentation, you are still going to do summary of your findings, you discuss your findings, you make a recommendation, suggestion for further studies, conclusion. Now, I said this has to be clear to us because somebody won't answer that question before now. So today, we are going to the last leg, but it's going to cover everything we have done again, but with the focus of reporting. So in reporting, you need to dot your I's and cross your T's. So everything need to be in order. So that is why I'm going like going afresh, but because we are reporting. So this is the mentality of reporting. Your background was not okay before, your research question were not okay, objectives, you have this opportunity to fine-tune everything. That is the characteristics of reporting. Then you need to change your tenses. I'm going to show you all this, but I'm just telling you why we need to start from where we are starting. So, and I have presented this thing in a manner that any stupid should understand. Sorry, that is anybody, regardless your learning ability. So inshallah, it should be able to understand. So, like I've used the approach when it comes to your purpose of the study. So I use the same approach that we need to follow when you are writing your purpose of the study. And the main objective of this presentation is a research report, but in specific terms. So we need to give clarification on research and peculiarity. So this is very, very important. Yes, we are saying research, what has been given so far, it's just general framework of research. We have certain peculiarities that are discipline-based, and we have based peculiarities. So research in education is not the same as research in arts. So we have differences, but it's under the general framework. The differences are in terms of the content, the subject area, the topic for discussion, and the approach. Like we have pure research, we have applied research. Pure research is what we usually do in Faculty of Art, Law, and areas that they used to develop principle, laws, and policies, pure sciences. So they are pure research. Then we have applied research. Applied research are researches we conduct in those areas of applied sciences. Like education is a form of applied science. Engineering is an applied science. So it's different from sciences. When you go to Faculty of Sciences, you do pure research. When you go to Faculty of Engineering, you do applied research. So we have those peculiarities like that. And generally, the differences are in the reports when you are giving your report, but generally we conduct the research in the same way. But when you are giving your report, you need to follow their framework and pay attention to certain peculiarities. So I will show you some examples. Then we also want to go back to a practical cursory look at how to get a topic. We also want to unveil our data sources for how we can source data for literature review. To have shown you the link you can use platform them, but we want to show some hand on desk practice. So we also need to skim features of background to the study with particular attention to in-text citations, how to cite. When you are writing, so you need to give the credence to anybody you are citing. So how do we go about that? I'll go to show you what it looks like because you can't get everything here. So, and then we give illustration, instrument for on how to develop instruments, natures of different types of instruments. We are going to explain techniques of data presentation, analysis, and implication for. So this is chapter 4 now. So normally, this should be our focus, chapter 4 and 5. But that is not the reality. The reality is that your proposal, your literature review, everything might need a kind of editing. You might need to fine-tune whatever you have done in line with the data. Sometimes the objective you have written or the data you are able to get may not be in consonance with the total objective. So you need to fine-tune them. Sometimes the reality after your field work will give the real shape of your research. So that is why when you come back from your field, so you need to presentation, research report. So we are going to discuss the component of chapter 5 too. Then we are going to treat references, how to reference the work after in-text citation. So let's get there. Now, research and topics peculiarities. So I've mentioned certain things regarding peculiarities. And I said earlier that we can also have institutional peculiarities. So you make sure you get sample of research projects based on your institution that will guide you. But this is general activities. You can't do anything outside what we are saying. But when you are reporting, just follow your institutional peculiarities. So that is very, very important. So, like I gave an example of UI and Unilag. UI, your chapter 5. The last thing that will come is your conclusion. But for Unilag, is suggestion for further studies. You have a conclusion even before recommendation. After conclusion, you have recommendation and you have suggestion. But in UI, conclusion is surely the last thing. So that is institutional base. So follow your institution. So if you don't want to, please. So now, as I've said, there are peculiarities. So research topic in Islamic study education are not the same for those of pure Islamic study. So why education is applied at you have said this. So in fact, within the science, there are peculiarities as well. So pick on any previous study in your subject area for guidance. So I want to give examples now. So we are all scholars in the house. You know, people complain that there are no topics in particular area. That is total a lie. We have problems that nobody can solve. There are problems that are yet to be attended to. So this is topic areas in Islamic studies, art. The topic area in Islamic studies art is usually core. Please, for those of us who are not in Islamic studies, I will also cite examples of topic, but later, please bear with me. I will show you one that will give you sample and how you can actually get your question. So this is just example. Bear with me, please. So you have core Islamic studies. So people in arts, Islamic study arts, they are in core aspects. Why in education we are in application of those things. So anything you are doing according in Faculty of Arts, you can have topics like this. Areas of Quranic studies, Hadith studies, Islamic law, Islamic history, Islamic thought, and so on. So, like deep examination of the Quran, including its exegesis, theology, and its ethical teachings. Research into sayings and tradition of the Prophet, covering their compilation, development, and content. Areas of Islamic law, area of Islamic thought. So we can also have contemporary and applied areas, even in Faculty of Art. That is why today we don't limit ourselves to library studies. Most, most carried out in Faculty of Arts is usually library studies. But now we can embark on what we call qualitative studies. That is, we need to go out and ask people questions. Yeah? The companions did this. When they want to confirm how long a woman will bear the absence of the husband in order to bring about law on divorce or either waiting period, they asked women. They didn't just suggest or guess. They asked questions. And there was another issue regarding having baby. I mean, if you can win, breastfeed a baby while you are pregnant. This is scientific issue. So they carry out survey from people of Medina who have been doing this. That if you are pregnant and you are still breastfeeding your baby, you have a baby you are breastfeeding and you are still pregnant, and it's not time to stop breastfeeding that baby, can you still continue? Will it not affect the baby you are breastfeeding or the baby in your womb? This is pure scientific, and they carry out this research. This is what I'm telling the scholars in the house, that research is actually for us, because you cannot give fatwa on what you don't know about. That would be a great error. You can't give fatwa on what you don't know about. So, so you have apply areas too, like Islamic finance. You have area like researching Islamic finance principle, including the study of zakat, charity work, endowment, and so on. You have social justice and human development there. You have interfaith dialogue issue. We have a lot of this issue in Nigeria. We have Islamic contribution to science, Islamic mysticism as against spirituality. So we have ethical issue and value issue. So there are a lot of research areas we are yet to explore. So we also have topics in Islamic studies. In general sense, we have research area in Islamic studies education. We have implementation of Islamic study curricula. Focusing, you can focus on method, you can focus on material, you can focus on teacher capacity. You have moral education as well. Okay. You have moral education, particularly in the role of Islamic studies in shaping values and combating societal issues. We have all of these issues in the society. What about pedagogy? The study of teaching and learning Islamic concepts, including curriculum development, student assessment. This student assessment was my own focus in my PhD. So I realized that you all know that in our assessment of Islamic study is usually cognitive focus. Cognitive means we only assess students based on knowledge. We don't assess them on the application of the knowledge. And that is against the objective of Islamic education. Islamic education is value-centric. So anything you are being taught, you must make use of it in the society. That's why we have Muslim children smoking, abusing drug, doing all those of illicit acts. So, and that is because we don't evaluate. Our assessment does not cover the affective domain. So my PhD work, I developed instruments to measure this affective domain. So in my survey, it was realized that we do not have instruments for that aspect, for that domain. We have instruments for cognitive domain. So please, if you are not in education, you may find my terms strange, sorry, but you should be able to understand in simple language. When you take somebody's part of the party now, you only ask them to recite that Surah Al-Fatiha. What about the use of the lessons in Surah Al-Fatiha? We say in Fatiha, Iyaka na'budu. Iyaka na'budu. Do we have ibadah? Do we worship Allah in the real sense? And there are indices to know who worship. Allah says in al-fashai wal-munkar. So if you call yourself a Muslim and you still lie, that is a sign that you don't pray, because the prayer takes away that lies from you. If it's not taking the lies from you, it's not the prayer that has no capacity. But you have done what Allah, you have kasara the mizan. Allah, that's what Allah says in Surah Al-Rahman. Allah says, Waqimul wazna bil qisti wa la tukhsiru al mizan. The mizan is the salat that's supposed to give you balance. But you have ruined it, you render it useless. So it won't function for you. Like medicine, which is not working for a sick person. It's not the capacity of medicine that is not up. But the person might not use it the way it's supposed to use it, does not follow the prescription. So these are areas. We have comparative study of Islamic education system. So these are areas we can explore. So you can see how important this something is. So let's move on because of our time. So topic is the area. These are other topic area. Please, I'll leave you to. These are specific now. The one I gave earlier was general. So these are specific. So I will leave you to go and study it, because this thing will be available to you, inshallah. Now, the course we look at how to get it practically. Practical terms, how do you? It's good that we have those ideas I've shown to you, but in practical terms, you need to. If you have interest, in any of those topics, the areas I've shown to you, the best thing is for you to embark on literature review. So don't assume that that problem is still there, or is no more there again, or don't just settle based on mere interest or feeling, your emotion. You need to concretize your emotion with knowledge. So go back to literature review. Remember what I told you, need to find out. Find out what has been done. Or you may find out about that content. What is that thing? Like when we talk about moral, what is moral? Generally, and Islam. Does our society value moral? Of course, when you go to national policy on education, your subject Islamic study is actually number 2 or number 1. It fits into number 1 national policy of Nigeria. So for you to know how important your subject area is. And if you are in language, of course, that is the language of instruction. If you are in CRS, it's the same thing with IRS. So everything I've said about Islamic study before, the same thing applied to CRS. The same thing applied to it. So it's the same area, because we are moral centric. We are value centric, sorry. So you go straight to any undergraduate research project in your area. So the first thing you can do if you want to get top from what I've said, if you develop interest, then you will need to embark on literature review in order to unveil the gap you need to fill. So you need to ask yourself, you need to find out which you need to do. So this is very, very important. And important is one aspect. Another aspect, if you are somewhat lazy, this one is easy to go, but at the same time, you still go back to literature review. So it's to go straight to any undergraduate research project in your area. So you are going to check the area. So there are two places you can get whatever you need. You can get your topic. Go to chapter. What chapter is this? I want to ask this question. This is another giveaway. So where can we find scope and delimitation of study? In which chapter are we going to find scope and delimitation of study? This is one area you can get topic that you want. If you see any Labisa, yes, Bismillah.
Yes, sir. I think it is chapter one under the research proposal. Can get the scope and limitation of the study. Yes, sir.
Barakallahu Fik. That is chapter one, very correct. So I intentionally left it in order to engage you if you are following me. So that is chapter one. So if you want to get a topic, just go to chapter one. So go to this entry, scope and delimitation. I will show you a practical one. Or alternatively, you can move to suggestion for further studies in chapter 5. But the problem is that not all researchers used to fill these entries. Suggestion for further study. A good researcher, we need to let us know what is left undone so that other researchers can fill that gap. You are not doing research because of yourself, and you cannot finish everything. So you must give room, opportunity to others to fill the vacuum you are leaving. So, but usually you have scope and delimitation of studies. This one is always entered. But suggestion for that study, you may not find it there. So they are from my own uh, research students. So I will show you sample of those my students. So let me show you sample. Sorry. Okay, are we together?
Yes, sir.
We are together, sir.
Okay. Sorry, did I get there now? Okay, so I'm taking you to my portfolio now. Okay, so Alhamdulillah, you didn't go straight to that place. So you can see my screen so that when you come to my portfolio, this is the way to get to where you can get these instruments. Okay, so when you get to my portfolio, just come under research works. You can see more, under more, then you go to research works. I hope you guys can see it.
Yes, sir.
Okay, mashallah. So this some of my supervisees projects. Students have supervised. So we try to follow everything in order. So let me show you what I was saying. Getting a topic now. This a reported project.
Sir, it's not clear, sir.
Is it clear now? Is it clear now?
Yes, it's clear now. Yes, sir.
Okay. So I said we go to chapter 1 under scope and delimitation to the study. So let's go there now. So look at it. You're under scope and delimitation to the study. Now he said this the scope of the study. That this study covers related public schools to a Somali local government area on influence of teachers' personality on the student and on the student choice of Islamic studies. So she's covering teachers' consciousness on students and choice of Islamic study, teachers' neuroticism on students and choice of and student choice of Islamic study, then pedagogical competence. So she's covering 3 areas of teachers' personality. So this is telling us the scope where she's limiting her own study. So you haven't seen this, you can pick it up and then cover certain other areas of teachers' personality that may affect the student choice of Islamic study. You know, this problem is what is telling us that most students from secondary school don't want to choose Islamic study. Even when you come to higher institutions, those who are in educational foundations, educational administration, they are in educational foundation generally. They are supposed to take one course as their teaching. Some of them who are Muslims and bona fide to take Islamic study usually run away from it. So why what are the factors contributing to this problem? So that is what she has worked on. And from our literature review, she find out that many researchers like Akidagba, myself and some other scholars, we have worked on this area, but we have not explored teachers' personality. So there are 2 key things you can look at there. She is carrying out the course, the research in this geographic area, Shomolu local government. So even if you reside in Lagos State, you can choose another local government. You can change the area, the geographical area of the research, or you can change the context of teachers' personality. Like she has only covered 3 here, so you can. So this is one way of getting a topic, if that interests you. So another way, let's go to chapter 5. Chapter 5, this is where we have, this is discussion of the findings. Okay, let me use this. This is recommendations, but conclusion, then we have suggestions for further studies. Now, this is 5.6 in chapter Can you guys see it? Hope you can see my screen.
Absolutely, sir.
It's blow. It's okay now.
Can you see it?
Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Walaikum salam.
Okay, it's better now. Yeah, it's
Uh-huh.
better now, sir.
Yeah, it's just nice.
Yes.
Now look at it now. You have suggestions for further studies. Look at what she said. Further studies could be carried out on influence of teacher personality, on student choice of Islamic study in another geographical region. You know, that's what I said. That is one. You can carry this out in another geographical region. She now said using interview as an instrument because she did not use interview. So there are many things you can change in a particular topic. You can change the area. You can change the methodology, method of data collection, because we have different methods of data collection, like we have said before. Then you can also focus on other areas under this topic. For further studies are said other areas. You have Islamic studies, teacher personality, and teacher productivity in secondary school. You can check their personality against their productivity. You can check Islamic study teacher personality. This is personality against their academic achievements. Our own interest was in choice of Islamic studies, student choice of Islamic studies. So if you have academic poor performance among your students, one of the things you can check perhaps is the personality of the teacher. Personality will affect interest in their subject, and it can also affect academic performance, as well as the moral performance. This moral issue we are talking about. Students may pick bad behavior from their teachers. So we can also explore effect of teacher pedagogical knowledge on student academic performance in Islamic studies. So this, you can see from just this one paper now, you can see the number of topics we can get. So that's why I said you have resources that you can never explore. Now I want to
Please come again, sir.
Come again. How? Where did you get lost, please? So that we can find.
You said effects of teachers' pedagogical knowledge, so I don't get the
Effect of
the remaining.
teacher pedagogical knowledge on student academic performance.
Oh,
On student academic performance.
thank you, sir.
So you can see just from this paper, just one paper here, you see how much you can get from it. So let me show you another one. This is my PGD student. It's from my PGD student. That is a postgraduate education. Okay. Our own area was language. So English language. Let me take you there. This is English language. He works on, she worked on bilingual area of bilingual and precisely code switching and code missing in the teaching of language, English precisely. Hope you guys understand what she has done. Code switching, code missing, like as I'm teaching you now, code mixing. Code switching means I switch from one language to the other. Code missing is that I mix up a language with the other, not switching particularly, but I miss. For instance, do you understand? Is it not true? Shebi? Shebi is true. That is code missing. Code switching is I stop speaking English, then I move to another language. That is code switching. So you can explore. This is just giving you example. So you may not find this one that's useful, but I mean, you may not find topic here, but I'm just telling you how to get topic. So it said this study focused on exploring the use of code switching and code missing as pedagogical tools in English language classroom within Nigerian secondary school, particularly from the perspective of both students and teachers. So look at it. She's limiting herself to the perspective of students and teachers. Somebody should tell me other perspectives. One can carry out the same research. Anybody there?
Yes, sir.
100, sir.
We are with you. We are with you, sir.
Raise your hand, please, if you need to talk. Hope it is understood. My question is clear. Olabi, this Malam Olabi.
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I don't have any question. I'm just saying we can get to the question.
Okay. Actually, I'm asking, this particular researcher said our focus is on the teacher and the student perspective of code switching and code missing. And I'm telling you that from this scope and the limitation of study, you could actually fill a gap here. We are filling a particular gap. And I'm asking you, by limiting ourselves to both students and teachers, which other perspective can we carry out this same research from? That can form another topic.
Sir, good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning, dear.
So I think we can fill the gap by looking at other stakeholders of education. So
Thank you very much.
Now focus on school owners and parents.
Parents, management,
Yeah, school owners, management, parents.
Thank you very much. Because parents may not like it. You know, I teach some students at home. Their mommy does not want them to speak Yoruba at all. You should not hear them speak Yoruba at all. So these are research gaps we can fill. So let me take you to chapter 5 and see what she has for us. So it's a sin. Sorry, I'm using the language of one of my professors. if you commit an error, say, I don't think Allah will forgive you. That is a sin. To be saying that there's no topic, it's a sin. No. Don't commit that bloody error. So there are topics. So you are just being lazy. Look at it now. She even itemized it. Look at her own style. Suggestion for further research. Say, while this study has provided important insights into the perception of students and teachers regarding code switching and code mixing as pedagogical tool in English language teaching. There remains considerable room for further exploration. Below are likely areas for exploration. The impact of code switching and code mixing on student academic performance in English language. So if the student and the teachers accept it, so what impact does it have on the academic performance? Then perception and practices of code switching in primary school classroom, because she carried this out on secondary school students. So teacher professional training and pedagogical use of code switching and code mixing. You can see, she has not even mentioned the one we thought of under the delimitation, under the scope and delimitation. She has not mentioned it. So she has given us another one again. That is there any professional training on the use of code switching and code mixing for teachers? So the influence of code switching on teacher-student relationship in multilingual classroom. So these are ways of getting topics, right? I think this will help a great deal, inshallah. So let's continue. Now, sourcing for data for literature review. So I haven't gotten your topic. I want you to see what we are doing as taking hold, practical steps now. I haven't gotten your topic, or area of interest in research. The next thing is to do a review of literature. See what has been done and what is yet to be done. Now, I want you to know that we have generally 2 areas of review. Please take note. If you want to do review, we have generally 2 areas. We have area of theoretical and conceptual. Theoretical and conceptual review. This is very, very important. This is tell you the knowledge gap. Theoretical and conceptual. I mentioned something like a theoretical framework. You may not develop it at your level now. You are still in first degree. And particularly PhD level, you must develop theoretical and conceptual framework, right? So you saw it by project that I displayed the other time. But you carry out review on the content of the matter. On the content of the matter. So the content area is to carry out review on the theoretical and conceptual framework. What are the theories, discussion on it? What are the people's concepts? Then the last one is the contextual. You remember I told you that your research, your background and review must be frostful in shape. So this is the content. This is serve for the content. This will serve for the concept, and you have the context. The context now, in the area of context, that is where you are going to do what we call empirical review. I'll show you everything in those material those materials cited earlier, those research documents cited earlier. So we call it empirical review. So when we talk about empirical review, what we are talking about is researches that have been conducted with data collection, not with the opinion of scholars, but fact-fetching research reports, not opinion, not based on opinion, not based on the view of the writer, but based on facts, data that has been collected. I'll show you the difference now, but how do you source for them? Maybe I should first take you through the example before going to sources for them. We are going to do everything before coming back here. So let's quickly go there again. Sorry. I think I'm wasting your time with this. So that thing was open before, so I can just come and pick it here. So now let me show you area of review. Literature review. If you are there, literature review, I know you guys should get that now. What chapter is that? There's no reward for that one. It's just a bonus. But who knows it for the sake of knowledge?
Yes, sir. Is that not chapter 2, sir?
Are you asking me again?
No, sir. I mean chapter 2. Chapter 2.
Mashallah, barakallah fi. You are correct. It's chapter 2. Chapter 2. So now look at it. We have, I said, your review is divided into 2. I want to show you now. Look at it now. Empirical studies. She wrote empirical studies on code switching and code missing. Let me start with theoretical studies. Or let me even just let me show you empirical studies. So empirical studies on code switching and code missing means research that have been carried out by through data collection, by hearing from people and reporting what people say. That is what empirical study means. You will see the nature. He said prevalence and nature of code switching and code missing in education. This is the in Nigeria, IOMA 2006. Find out, you can see this is the way empirical study is usually reported. If you are reporting empirical study, there are certain languages that are used in empirical studies that are not, you don't use them in theoretical study. Look at this word, found that. You don't say opine. When you say opine, you should know it's not an empirical study. You say contributed, mention, or said, all those languages, they are telling us that the study is not empirical. But when you use the word found, revealed, reported, they are empirical studies. That's where we report empirical studies. Let's go to theoretical studies now. These things I'm talking about is very, very important. If you don't do it like that, by the time you get to chapter 5, you won't be able to discuss your studies. That's why I said I need to give you the whole picture of reporting. So if you have not developed your literature review before, this is the way you report it when you are reporting. And you have languages for empirical review, which is different from theoretical review. So that has to be clear to us. I want to move on. Empirical studies. So let's go to theoretical studies. So when you see theoretical studies, you will be talking about concepts and certain theories or content of, look at it, perception. This is perception of, you can see it now. This is not empirical. Perception of people is talking about perception here. That's a concept it's talking about. So you will be quoting what people have said, the thinking of people generally, not their findings. So when you are reporting it, look at it now. Bilingualism. Bilingualism and multilingualism she's discussing this concept. Bilingualism refers to this so. You can see she will give definition according to whomever has given that definition. So it's purely theoretical. So she's discussing theories here. If anybody said anything, look at it here. This paraphrase, look at it from here. This paraphrase from here. She said the European Union, for example, promotes the modern tongue +2 policy encourages citizens to master at least 3 languages for cultural, economic, and political reasons. This is according to European Commission, 2008. Look at it. So this is not empirical study, but policy of the Europe. So it's a conceptual and theoretical review. Now, if you want to get your literature, if you want to get data for your literature, where do you go? Where do you go? You know, I've said this before, that I've given you areas you can explore, but I want us to practicalize it now. Let's do some practice quickly. So you need data for your literature review. I said you can explore Google Scholar. You have search engine. These are search engine, Chrome. Then you have Google. You have other search engines like that. But let's see Google Scholar, for instance, now. Google Scholar now. Now, this is this is Google Scholar, for instance, now. So I've told you that you must learn to how to enter the right term. We call them keywords, the right keyword. So I want to give you an example. Let me say moral education. Moral education. Now, let's see what it brought for me. About 4 million. Look at it, the result. The result is about 4,590,000 results. 4,590,000 results. Now, keep that too. Let's try another one. If I now say, look at it, I code it, I say moral education, code it, and I code it Nigeria, code it moral education and Nigeria. Okay, look at it now. I have 12,200,000. No, 12,200. Just 12,200. You can see the difference now. When I limit it, when I enter the right code now, it will limit me to the area I'm asking. This Do you get it now?
Yeah.
Unlike when it brought me millions, this is just 12,400 now. So you must learn to search. Now, so that is one thing you must know. Another thing is that you don't need to read everything before you download because it could be troublesome. This is the area that usually give students headache for any researcher. So that's why I'm paying attention to this area. Please, you can bond your own. You can put it on landscape so that you can see better. So look at it now. Haven't gotten this thing. This is where to download if you want to download. But don't go and download straight. See, why Google Scholar is very, very good is that there are a lot of things that you can get from this Google Scholar. If you want to cite this material now, you don't need to be racking your brain to cite it. This is cite. If I click it now, it will bring me different types of citation types. This is MLA, this is APA, this is Chicago, this is Harvard, and so on. In Unilag, in Unilag Faculty of Education, we use APA. So I will just copy it like this. Bam, and I'll go and place it. So I don't need to be racking my brain, to get anything cited. This is why Google Scholar is very, very good. The only problem you may have is if you don't know how to search by using booleans, different types that will limit what you want. You can say, I said moral education. I can even limit it to Islamic studies. Then Nigeria again. It depends on what you want. Now, let me go on. Don't go straight to downloading. First, click here. When you click, you have the document before you now. So what you do first is to see the abstract. I set my cookies so that it will allow me to do whatever I want to do. So for part of the document that can help you is the abstract. So once you read this abstract now, you will know if you need this instrument or this data, this document. So you don't need to read the whole document before confirming its relevance to your paper. Look at it now. If I read the abstract now, every research project the project I ask you to do for any research article has this abstract. You are going to write abstract. Abstract is the summary of the whole project. The ultimate summary of the whole project. So look at it now. It said Nigerian society today exhibits symptoms of serious moral malaise. There is consequently widespread concern about the nation's moral predicament. This paper is an attempt to investigate the root of the problem. You see it now? So you have seen the focus of this paper. It's investigating the root. And I don't know what area of morality or moral education you want to write on that. You will not need the courses. This is the foundation. So you will need it. So once you need it, you can come here instead of going back. This is where to download. My cursor down where there is this sign of Adobe. So you can download it there, or you go back. You can go back, sorry. Or you go back to the page. So you can go back to the page. here, you can come back here and download it here. How you can see, you can download it here. Once you click, you download. So, Google Scholar does not need you to sign in, unlike other Scholar platforms that they may want you to sign in or do all those things. You don't actually need that. Just search for Google Scholar on your Chrome or any other search engine, and then enter the topic into that space as I've shown you here. So it's already opening the document for me that I can download. So because of our time, we need to move on. I think that has given us a kind of a clue into it. Another one I will also want to show us is how to use AI. This is also very, very important. So how to use AI. I said it there that you need to be careful with the use of AI. So you take AI as your companion instead of trying to plagiarize, stealing from others through AI. No, you can take AI as your companion. So I want to take you through how to prompt AI, give AI some information to get you data, and it can even give you the whole idea of whatever you want. So let us use Gemini for instance. Let's use Gemini for instance. So this is Gemini now. And one thing is that it can also help you save your history, what you have discussed with it. Usually save it. So if you look at the left side of my system now, where I'm moving my, you'll see what I've done before. So if I need to go back to anything, I can always get it. This is one of the benefits. So look at it now. You want to carry out research on moral education in Islamic study. We don't just say moral education in Islamic study as if you want to steal from somebody. Ask Gemini that what are the research, what are the available research gaps in the area of morality in Islamic studies. Like if I'm looking for topic, but if I just need, I want to do literature review, you can actually ask this Gemini to help you review. But the best way to do that is to first get those documents, because sometimes it can give you false source, source that does not exist at all. So that's why you need to read anything it's given to you. Look at this plus. This plus is to add article. If you have gotten any article online, you can actually add this article and tell it to give you summary or to let you know precisely what the article is all about. And you will cite what, so it's going to paraphrase and give you exactly what you might need. So look at it and I say, what are the available research gaps in the area of morality in Islam? So you can say, I was precise. Look at what it's going to tell me now. Let's see. Say that's a fantastic and heretical area of scholarly work. Why Islamic morality, often referred to as akhlaq, look at it now, or Islamic ethic, has a rich classical tradition. Its application and engagement with the modern world presents several compelling research gaps. He said we have akhlaq or Islamic ethic in Islam, but application and engagement with the modern world. So he has opened a general concern, application of akhlaq, that is Islamic ethics in the modern world. So let's engage it further now and see what he has for us. Engagement with contemporary ethical dilemmas. Look at it, digital and cyber ethics. artificial intelligence, research into concept of digital truthfulness, sidq, slander, giba, in the context of the internet environment. So, environment and climate ethics, Islamic ecology, can see bridging classical and modern philosophy tradition, comparative ethical theories, the role of akil and wahi, empirical and social science-based studies. So, impact of Islamic education and so on. So, you can, if you pick interest in anyone, you can tell it to avail you available data, available material on them. You are going to get it. So these are the ways to use it. And even on your WhatsApp, you have this man here, Lemma. You have Lemma here that you can also engage the same way. The only difference is that you cannot attach data on Lemma. But I prefer, if you want to enjoy research, go do it with Gemini. And I don't usually use ChatGPT, so I use Gemini more often. So I love the way it engages me. So you can use others, but give them and make sure you for idea. And he has given me a lot, but I'll pick the one I want, and I'll also prompt it further to give you more information, and you need to verify. Yeah. So because I know this is usually an headache, so that's why I'm taking us through how to carry out a literature review. So let's move on, please. So this is where we left. I said we can use Gemini, you can use AI, and so on. So let's continue. Now, embarking on that literature review, the best way, let me tell you, the best way to carry out is to document it at the same time. Don't first go and later want to develop your literature review. If your supervisor does not want full development of literature review during your proposal stage, just don't give your supervisor that details. Give your supervisor whatever he or she wants. That is the outline of the topic you want to review. Give it to it like that. Give it to him or her like that. But for you, immediately you are working on this literature review, you are finding out what to do. Make sure you document it. Do the review at the same time. I'm showing you how to do it using AI now. If I ask Gemini to summarize, it will summarize. If I ask for further discussion, it will give me further discussion. Particularly if you can lay your hand on WPS. WPS has this crazy AI. After you have cited anything, you can ask the AI in WPS to further the discussion. You can ask it to summarize, you can ask it to paraphrase. It will do all those things for you. But you know what you are doing is original because the idea is from you, and you are only getting those information to support your idea. You still go on field to contribute to the knowledge. So that is not plagiarism. You are just using it as your research companion, your learning companion. That is all. So now, having gotten your data, your literature review, and the next thing is to develop your background. You make your background rich. So in your background, I was saying something that you need citation in your background. Most of us used to commit some errors. at this level. So you need to cite. So I want to take us through how to example on that. Now let's look at this. Sorry. Sorry. Okay. Let's look at this on teachers' personality. Okay. So this is what we call in-text citation as your background. Because I've seen a lot of errors that we commit in our background. So if somebody said something, you need to cite the person, and there are acceptable ways of doing that. Generally, it depends on the references style you are following. I will show you different types of references style. So your in-text citation depends on your, sorry, please. Your in-text citation depends on the references style you are following. Like I said, we use APA, American Psychology Association, here in UNILAG, and particularly in education. If you are in a Faculty of Arts, that may be MLA. MLA for the people in arts, multilingual. So I will show you sample of each one of them. So look at what we call intercitation. If somebody says something, so there's a way of citing it. This is very good. Thank God we have this kind of example. See, you don't use this sign of and when you are doing intercitation, except you have this and you write it in full, and you don't use this sign. You don't use this sign in a in-text citation. So instead of this, you use you use and. Look at it. You write it in full and. Hope you can see my comment here. This is what you use instead. So you use and. So you have Foster and Kellum, 2015. You have Abdul, you have Rahman, Solly, 2022. So here should be with and, there should be and there. Once you are listing 3 people, the last thing here should be and. Like she put and here, but it should be and in word. Then you have Rose Nani, 2014. So one thing I want you to note is that you only write the surname, not the full name of that person. Even in MLA format. Even in MLA format. But the difference between MLA format and APA is that in MLA format, you don't write the year. You only write the page of the document. You don't write the year of publication. But in APA, you write surname and the year. If there are two, if the researchers are 2, you write their name, their surname, and A and B, 2015. So this is an error now. There's supposed to be and here. Abdul Rahman and Soleh, 2022. And also you don't use this and, you write it in word. So I hope we are getting what I'm saying. This is another error now. Asan Langlong. You see, some of them are correct, some of them are wrong. So this is very good now. We are having this error. So actually, undergraduate research, we don't usually pay too much attention. But for you who knows that you still want to continue in this area of academics and you want to be a scholar, then you need to pay attention to all this knowledge area of research, and you do uh, acceptable work. So in your background, you cite anything you are writing, except that information is from you, is your own contribution. That is what I want us to observe here. So let's move on because of our time. So the only time you use this and, this sign, it's when you paraphrase and you put your citation in parentheses. You put it in brackets like this. Like you have Jasmine and Tamuri. This and now is correct the way it is. It's correct the way it is. If not in brackets like this, you write this and in full, not in sign as it has been written there. So instrument for data collection, you know, after your proposal is approved, the next thing is to develop instruments, develop instruments. Now, I told you that you may have more than one instrument, and your instrument must be developed according to where you want to get the data. And that is people from whom you are getting your data. So we are going to see typical example here now. So let me take us back to this document we are using. So I've also provided you with a sample of instruments. Let me show you the one that use multiple instruments. Okay, this is it now. Why are you bringing me here? Okay. Okay, good. Now, look at this lady now. She has a structural questionnaire. Structural questionnaire. So when you are developing your instrument, she has questionnaire and she has another instrument which is observation schedule. This is classroom of observation. So the type of you are going to develop, it depends on the question. You need to develop instruments that can help you get information, elicit information from your sample. So she has two now. She has questionnaire where she's going to ask them questions. And she also has observation checklist, observation schedule. Now, that is number one. Number two is that these instruments now must be developed according to your research question. So you develop it in line with your research question. So if you go back to this report research, you see that the first question is perception of teachers towards the use of code switching and code missing. Have you seen it now? So the perception of teachers towards code switching and code missing. So this is research question number one. And the first thing is to take demography. The first thing is to take the demography. Sorry. So the first thing is to take the demography of the teachers. Oh, this thing does not want me to click on it. So you take the demography of the teachers, right? So that's demography. That's general information of the teacher. Then before going to the information you need from them, that is section B now. So perception and practice of teachers toward the use of code switching and code mixing. So you have the perception of students now. This is another research question. So you take their demography too. Then this is she used this one because of the focus assessment of pedagogical benefit of code switching and code mixing, because she wants to confirm if the student benefits within the classroom setting. But you cannot have answer to, if you want typical answer, fact on this, you need to be there while the teaching and learning is ongoing, because you may need to assess the countenance of the students while the teacher switch. And what did you observe when the teacher switch is a code, that is the language. That is why you need to be there. There are some things that you don't need to, you cannot ask people. If there are things you can see yourself, you go for observation. So you do what we call observation schedule, and you have checklists. Like you are carrying out research on availability of teaching aid. Availability of teaching aid, if they are available, there are things you can see, and there are things you can see. So just go there and observe it yourself. That is observation schedule that you are going to use. So because of our time, we need to move on now. I'm just trying to be practical as much as possible. So that chapter 4 now, our chapter 4. So I haven't gotten your data. So you can see the way I'm going. I haven't gotten your data. You have developed your questionnaire or your instrument, and you went to the field. So by the time you are back, the next thing is a data presentation and analysis. This is chapter 4. So let me take us back to this place now. Now, it's very, very important we pay a little attention here to chapter 4, where we present data. Now, there are two things you need to know here. The way you are presenting your data here depends on the questions as well. So our research question is very, very important. Remember, your instrument was also developed according to research questions. The same way you are going to report according to research questions. And there are majorly two things you do. You present three things. You present the data, you analyze the data, and you tell us implication for the question under which the data has been collected. Now, let me show you the beginning of this analysis. You can see she's analyzing the items one by one. The items one by one. The items on the research instrument, one after the other. Okay, this is research question number 1. As I've told you, the analysis of student research questions. You know, she has three instruments, one for teachers, one for students, and the observation schedule. So this is sometimes both teacher and students may be answering the same questions. For instance, now if you have 4 research questions and the area of inquiry includes both teacher and students, so both of them need to answer those questions. So you report the two, you put their responses together. That will determine the implication for the research question. So let's look at this one now. I hope my screen is wide enough. Let me widen it a bit so we can see it clearly. Yeah, I think it's big now. Are you guys there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, let me leave it here. So you see 4.3, you are following this 4.3. You see analysis of student research question. So this research question number 1 is actually the research question number 1 in chapter 1. So she want to present the data now. So data presentation. Okay, maybe I should take you back a bit. So you see, but I don't want us to waste time because we are not, time is not on our side. Okay, this is chapter 3. Let's see chapter 4. This chapter 3, let me quickly say something. All those future tense you have used this during your proposal, when you are reporting, you need to change it to past tense because you have gone to the field now and you have carried out anything you are doing. So you put it in past tense. That's chapter 3. Remember, it's part of your proposal. So when you are reporting, you need to go back and change your tenses to the past because you have done whatever you proposed. So this is chapter 4 now. Chapter 4 is data presentation, analysis, and interpretation. So I said you are doing 3 things. You are presenting data, you are analyzing, and you are interpreting. So this data here, you first give us background to whatever you are doing. Like he said in the background there, you have total of 300 questionnaire were distributed. Sometimes you distributed 300, you may not get everything. Yeah. So you need to tell us if that is your own case too. So in case something happen, you can give us that under limitation to the study. This chapter 5 too. Yeah. If there's any reason apart from student declination, if we have any other major reason for not getting the number of instruments distributed back. So you need to give us that detail under limitation to the study. So you have demographic data presentation. So according to gender, so the gender of students, so the table is the presentation. Then the word, this information, this explanation under it is the analysis. So you give us the table. So this method is using now of data presentation is telling us that our research is just qualitative rather. In qualitative, this is the way you present your data. You use a simple percentage count, frequency count, and simple percentage table and data for your presentation. So their class distribution, then the questionnaire of the students. Now, question number 1, what are student perception of code switching and code mixing as a pedagogical tool in English language teaching? So this is item 1 on the instrument. So my teacher uses our local language during English lesson. So one thing I need to tell you is that on your instrument, you need to personalize the items. Don't ask general question. You don't ask general question. You personalize it. You put the respondent in the perception. While the respondent is reading your items, you will see him or herself in the picture. So you don't write general statement. For instance, you don't say local language is used during English language. No. Say my teacher uses. Put it in that context. So if it happens, it will show the agreement or not. So you have this 5 scale. She has used 5 scale. This is strongly agree, neutral, disagree, strongly disagree. This is 5 scale. So if you like, you can use 4 scale. You may not use neutral. Sorry. So it depends on what you want to use. So that is for data 1. Item 1. So item 1 is presented and analyzed. Analysis is just to give us what happened, their responses in words for us to understand better. You are going to present item 2 in table. You do item 3, item 4 in that order. So it depends on number of items you have there. So you can see what she's doing. So you have this item. So majorly what you are doing in chapter 4 is this: data presentation, analysis, and interpretation. So all these things she's doing, still presentation and analysis. So interpretation is the implication of all those questions she has asked for that research question number 1. You see where she will now put, look at it now, implication of item 1 to 13 to research question number 1. So all those questions she has asked now, what is the implication for that research question? That is when you are now answering that question you have asked. Said the result of the student questionnaire clearly show that learners perceive code switching and code missing in a predominantly positive light. For the majority of students, these linguistic practices are not viewed as evidence of incompetence or deviation from proper English, but rather are valuable pedagogical strategies that help them learn better. So it continues like that because that is their perception. That is what the topic, the question is all about. So you now ask different questions that will lead to unveiling perceptions. So this is the way to carry out a meaningful research. So this is what chapter 4 is all about. So without wasting our time, let's just go to chapter 5 straight from this beautiful report of this researcher. So that's what you are going to do throughout chapter 4. So chapter 5, this is where you now get some scholars, some researchers will do summary of the findings in chapter 4, summary of the findings. But in most cases, I prefer it in chapter 5 because after the summary of the findings, that is where you do discussion of the findings. So I prefer summary to come where discussion of the findings, because you are going to follow the same questions. So this is analysis of classroom observation. This one is for research question 3. So as I've said, each research question may have peculiar question or peculiar way of getting your information. So which means that our question number 1 was meant for the students. Question number 2 meant for the teachers. Question number 3, none of them will answer it. She has to observe it herself. So that is, what are the perceived pedagogical benefits? So that is what she did here. So we are moving on to chapter 5 of this work. So I'll make all this. Okay, she put summary here, summary of the findings. So in summary, the finding from this study present a consistent picture across the 3 research questions. So she gave us the summary of question number 1. Remember the presentation of the data will bring a form of break in the flow of the understanding. That is why we need this summary. Summary will now give us the question and the interpretation. That is the what actually happened, which is the interpretation there, the implication for the study in concise form. That is summary. That's what summary is. So you see that it's not that long again. So research question 2, you tell us what actually happened. And then research question 3, tell us what happened there in a precise manner. So we now move on to chapter 5. Chapter 5 is discussion of the findings, conclusion. You can see she's not putting summary here again. So having summarized in chapter 4, you don't need to come and summarize again in chapter 5. So some people make that duplicate, but I don't find that necessary. So that's why summary to start chapter 5 so that you can follow. I can easily make reference to the summary when I'm doing discussion. Now, let me tell us, discussion of the findings primarily has to do with comparison between the new findings and the previous studies. Yes, so you need to tell us the difference between your findings of your research and what scholars have said before. If there's corroboration, if you have similarities, if what you are saying is the same thing, you say it corroborates. But if not, you tell us that there is a kind of discrepancy, and you may need to tell us why, and give possible reason. So that possible reason may also form as another research area for another person. Anybody who studied the discussion of the findings. So you will give brief background of the study, then before going to discussion of the study, research question number 1, you can see. So he said, from the analysis of student questionnaire, it became evident that learners perceive code switching as a positive aid to comprehension. A majority of the respondents indicated that alternating between English and their native language made lessons clearer, especially when tackling complex vocabulary or abstract concepts. These findings align, have you seen it now, strongly with the assertion by Cook 2001 that the first language can be a valuable cognitive tool in second language learning, providing a scaffold for understanding new material. The work of Macro, the work of Macro 2005 further support this view, arguing that judicious use of L1 is first language, that is your mother tongue, reduces cognitive overload, especially for learners. L2 is your second language, which is the official language, still building proficiency in the target language. So in Nigeria, Ifelodun, where she carry out this, where Yoruba is widely spoken, the use of familiar linguistic structure offers students an accessible bridge to mastering English concept. So this is the way you discuss your findings in order of the research question. So she went to research question number. So this is a major component of chapter 5, discussion of the findings. So after that, you move on to the, as I've said, some in Unilag, we would like the researcher to conclude. Conclusion means, from your conclusion, you now tell us the implication of all these findings according to the research. The whole topic now. You now conclude if you have gotten something for us according to your main topic. So the study has examined in depth the perception and practice of both teachers and students regarding code switching and code mixing in English language classroom within Nigeria government area. No, that is the topic. The evidence gathered from questionnaire, interview, and classroom evaluation presents a coherent picture of language alteration as an intentional, culturally grounded, and pedagogically valuable practice. Far from a sign of linguistic inadequacy, the findings demonstrate that code switching in the context is largely a deliberate strategy employed to enhance comprehension, sustain engagement, and bridge the cognitive and cultural gap between students' first language and English. Have you seen this now? So that is conclusion from there. So after conclusion, we assume that he has finished his own report. Now is to give us recommendation according to his findings. So recommendation, what could he recommend? So he said, firstly, teachers' professional development program should incorporate training on strategic and purposeful code switching. That it should not be something that be used haphazardly or without knowledge. There should be training on the use of it too. So secondly, so she's giving another one now. Curriculum planners and policymakers should acknowledge the linguistic realities of Nigeria classroom in designing instructional material. So thirdly, so she gave that's everything will be according to your findings and suggestion for further studies, telling us what has not been done and others can still do. So lastly, you now have references. So references is the last thing. So that's the same thing we have in my slide, our objective if you are following carefully. So I don't need to go back, but I can just show you references. So everything, any work cited in the body of your, we call the references in the body of your work citation, inter-citation. Then the list of the work is called reference. But in MLA, you use the word bibliography. So you need to find out the acceptable references type according to your subject area and according to your department. But here in University of Lagos, Faculty of Education, we use APA, American Psychology Association. So I implore you to go and download those documents. I have, I think I have documents on both of them here, both on MLA, because sometimes I make publishers who prefer, who opt for MLA. So I have something on that. Yeah, okay, this is it. This is MLA. So you must have seen it before, but you may not take note. This is a style that usually have they usually have footnotes. So if you are reading book with footnote, you should know that they follow MLA. That you now find something written under here. So that is MLA style. So, but this is the document on how to cite and reference. As I said, if you look at this is hot 127. This hot is the name of the author. 127 is the page number of the document. No year. No year. And if you are writing and you think of something necessary to include, you give footnotes. So you put this number here with the intention of footnoting. So if you can see this one, so this will be the first footnote that will be under. There's a way of using the system such that if I just click this one, it will take me to the footnote straight away. There's a way of doing that time will not permit me to do that now. So I think with this little we have done, you should be better off when it comes to research activities. So I stop here in order to entertain questions. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Walaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. MashaAllah. That was a very wonderful presentation and a facilitation by our doctor in person of Dr. Rahman Abbas Haremu. We pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to increase you in beneficial knowledge and strength towards engaging more in this type of jihad, because I see this as a jihad, because you despite the fact that this is an academic line, you marry it together with Islam. So Alhamdulillah, may Allah continue to be with you forever. And I pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala be with your family also, and grant you and your family members Al-Jannah, Al-Jannatul Firdaus. Amen. I don't know, this is time for Mr. President, sir, as I've said earlier, while we still wait for, if there is any other question, the next addendum here with us is that the microphone will be given to the president of this great association, Sheikh Jallo. The floor is all yours to give us a very long or lengthy closing remarks and every other information or any other thing that we need to do or know concerning the ending part of this session. Jazakumullahu khairan. If the president is hearing, the floor is all yours, sir. Wassalamu alaikum.
Thank you, sir. I think someone has a question, sir. Someone is raising up.
Okay, someone, okay.
Yes. Idris.
Okay, mashallah. Oh, my bad. I did not even, I wasn't aware. Sheikh Olaonikwekun Idris, you may go ahead and ask your question. Thank you, sir.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
First, I'd like to commend the doctor for the insightful sessions. So the question I have is that I used to have the preconception that there must be at least two variables in research, which are the independent variable and the dependent variable, and some others. However, based on our first session, I got a bit confused. Is it possible to have just one variable in a research study? So that's the question.
All right. Yeah.
Thank
you. Yeah, it's possible you have just one variable in research study. Yeah, can you hear me, please?
Yes, we can just hear you now. We are not hearing you before.
Yeah, it is possible you have one variable in a research study. Very well. For instance, if you just want to know, you want to find out the causes of a particular problem. If you are not looking for the influence of the problem on another or what one thing has caused on the other, you may not have two variables. So for instance, now if you want to confirm, people have worked on we said factors contributing to student choice of Islamic studies. For instance, now somebody has worked on the parental factor contributing to it. So you may want to find out the causes, factors contributing to those parental factors again. So you only have one variable, which is the parental factor of student choice of Islamic studies. So you may be looking for the causes. Why parents behave like that? Why do they contribute to their students' lack of choice or choices in Islamic studies? It's a researchable topic, and that is just on one variable. Just on one variable. So it's possible. And you can have three variables. You can have what we call It's not only dependent and independent variable you may have. You may also have what we call intermediating, mediating variable. We can have mediating variable. And we can also have a degree, different grades of variables. Like you are talking about sex, then age in sex, background in sex, and so on. So there are numbers of variables you may have. So it's not just, I hope that. Assalamu alaikum. Can you hear me?
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Hope that answered your.
Now, mashallah. Thank you very much, sir. I want
Yes, sir. Jazakumullah khairan, sir.
okay,
But I
mashallah.
didn't get the last part, like the early ones off.
Maybe the network was glitching, right? Yeah, the network was actually glitching.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. More ends up. We have Sheikh Abdul Basit. Sheikh Abdul Basit, you may go ahead and fog out your question. Thank you, sir. Sheikh Abdul Basit.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much for the opportunity given to ask question. Assalamu alaikum. May Allah continue to guide and strengthen Dr. Rahman Abbas Aremu, and may he continue to guide the thoughts of every one of us. Now, Dr. Shah, although my question would still fall back to the first one, and then I'm going to ask the second, my own personal question. So, and that is on the fact that that is on two variables or one variable, sir. So for me, I feel like when I think the misconception is it that the misconception students have with the variables is it that we always think it should be one abstract and concrete item, that we believe that there must be an abstract and concrete item, and we don't believe that the other variable, there is no way two abstract variable would be dependent and independent. Is it that that is our only problem? Because going by the suggestions you gave, that on the something, how something affects Islamic studies. So I'm feeling like those two things, Islamic studies is a variable in this context, and what you said is what you are trying to research how it affects Islamic studies is also an abstract content here, which means both of them are also variables. Is that a mistake we often make, or that's just how it should be? That's one abstract and one concrete item. Secondly, sir, on the chapters in the chapter 2, literature review. So I might have gotten you wrong, but I would like to, make clarifications. You said the literature review chapter, it covers just two aspects, and that is the theoretical and empirical framework of your research. However, what I used to know about is that we have three: the conceptual framework, the theoretical framework, and the empirical framework. Is it that there's a new development that has now shrunk the literature review aspect to two, or that is still how it is? Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, I'll start from the last one. It's just what I said, perhaps you misunderstood. We have theoretical and conceptual together. Theoretical framework, they are two in one concept. Theoretical framework and conceptual framework, they are two in one. So if you break them You only break them in your own case. Theoretical framework and conceptual framework, they are two-in-one concepts. So for later, you get to know that. But you carry out research on theories and concepts. It's concepts that becomes theory. So if you don't understand now, don't worry. You later understand. So this is what we usually do at PhD level. We must develop our own conceptual framework, relying on theories, existing theories. So it's the concepts some people have developed before that turn to theories that we are going to rely upon to develop our own concept. Later, our own concept will also turn to theory. So this is one area. The second one is the empirical. So there are two in one. So that's what we are saying. Now, for variables, this is what you need. When we say variable, can we give a topic? We say effect of teachers' personality, effect of teacher personality on the student's choice of what? Islamic studies. Now, you see this word effect. Are you going to call it a variable? This word effect. Do you call this one variable? Let's answer, please.
Yes, sir.
Do you call this one variable? That's effect.
Yes, sir. Yes,
No,
sir.
sir. No, sir.
If you call it's not a variable. It's not a variable. Variable are usually nouns that you can change within your topic framework. But you must have the verb relationship. Now, you have teacher's personality. Then you have student choice of Islamic studies. These are the two variables in this work. They are the noun phrase in this work. They are the variables. If you now ask what happens to them, there must be a verb connecting them, an action verb connecting them. That is the effect. You want to check the relationship between the two of them. You want to check the relationship between the two of them. So this is your active verb. This will guide your research question and everything you want to ask. So here are the variables. You have just two variables there, not three. Two variables. Now, I'm now saying that it is possible I have just one variable. For instance, now, I said factors. We have gotten teacher's personality. I'm now saying factors. Factors contributing to teacher's personality. Now, these factors I don't know yet. So my focus is teacher's personality. What could be changed in this topic is teacher's personality. I can change any other thing. But what do I want to know about this teacher's personality is factors contributing to teacher's personality. This is unknown now, like effects between teacher's personality and student something is not known. However, let me give you this understanding. Topic could be technical, and we can have different perception of the theory. The major thing is that your research must have active active verb, such that if you ask, what do you want to do? I want to find out factors contributing to teacher's personality. To be something that is unknown. So, but some people may say factors contributing and teacher personality are two variables. But that's their own perception. Sometimes, if I take away, you should know that if I take away factors contributing, teacher's personality could be a topic on its own. Do you agree with me? But what cannot be?
Yes, sir.
What cannot be is that if I take away, sorry, if I take away, should I take away factors contributing now? If I take away, I want to establish something here. Sorry. If I take away factors contributing, if I take away teacher's personality, there's no sense here again. It means factor contributing cannot make it sense. The same way teacher's personality, student choice of Islamic study can make sense on its own. So it's a variable. Teacher personality is a variable, it makes sense. When it stands alone, you see that this one, you can talk on this thing. But you can't talk on factors contributing. You can't talk on it. So it's not changeable. Factors contributing cannot be substituted for another thing. But I can change teacher's personality. I can say factor contributing to student choice of Islamic studies. So anything that could be changed in a framework, that is the variable. The one that cannot change, if you change it, if you take it away, there is no sense there again, then it's not a variable. I think that's my own explanation here. If that. Are we there? I don't hear anything again.
Now,
Yes, sir, we are there.
Malam Abubakar, hope it's clear a bit.
Sir?
Hope you are clear a bit. If you still have questions, you can ask you.
Yes, sir. Clear, sir. Clear, sir. Thank you so much for your time, sir. Very, very clear.
So let me
Yes,
add.
sir.
Let me add. It's not only two, as I've said, we may not have just two variables. And the variables may not be dependent or independent alone. That is the elementary research. You can have two independent variables. Two variables that are independent, that has nothing to do with one another. You may now bring, you might be the one that is now developing a relationship between them. That's another level. So you may also have three variables. One will be independent, and you may have two independent. So it depends on how complex what you are doing. Like my PhD work, I brought cognitive domain and affective domain together. For most scholars, they are independent variables. But I bridge them together, and I also established from literature review that none of them stands in isolation. But we always jettison affective domain, thinking it is not important. So it's perceived to be, they are perceived to be independent variables. So when I went to University of Ibadan, there's a particular professor there in the area of measurement and evaluation. They have a special center for that studies. So I went to meet a particular professor. That's the first thing he said, that you are doing something new. I said, what is that? I said, you are bringing two independent variables together. They have nothing to do with each other, and one does not affect the other. You can work on one without referring to other. You can work on other without referring to one. I said, yes, I know, but we want to see their relationship and how we can put them together to form holistic assessments of human beings. Said, yes, that is innovative. So you can have it. So thank you very much.
Okay. Sheikh Olaonipekun, right? Do you have anything to say?
I wanted to say that based on the example he gave, I think that educational research, one of the essence of educational research is to prefer solution to problem. So the example he gave is like that's a pure research. I don't know. It's like is there any solution to one is preferring to that example? Like, is there any problem with that example that needs solution?
Now, thank you. Let me correct that opinion first. You are not providing any solution to any problem you said. What you are only doing is you are providing us with information, useful information that might be used later in the field of knowledge or in any area of research. You have conducted your research. So, for instance, now, if you can you give me any example of solution? I want you to give me example of topic that is giving solution.
The effect of using lecture method on the performance of students.
It's the same thing you have just said. It's just like the same topic I've given. It's like effects of using lecture method on students. If you carry out the experiment, you only give us information. What problem have you solved? Tell us now. You only tell us the effect of using lecture method. What problem have you solved? So generally, don't let us be deceived that by research you are solving problem. No, you should also know that there's still political dimension of knowledge. We have what we call. So one thing is to make knowledge available. Another thing is to gazette, to pass a law that will adopt to adapt. So that is why in your chapter 5, you make recommendation. You cannot force anybody. You have even that's why major thing you are doing in research is that you are bridging gap. You are contributing to knowledge. That's what we are doing. You are not solving, contributing to knowledge. We are telling others what is possible. That's what we are doing. So if you say factors, effect of a particular method, lecture method on academic performance, what you have just done is to reveal the benefit. Tell us the benefit. It doesn't mean that you are the one that developed that lecture method. Even when you develop that lecture method, we have been using a particular method before. You have just given us alternative. And you can go ahead and also tell us how that is better than what we have been using. That is just information. No, it's just information. So thank you. And you can see you add lecture method on academic performance. So if I remove lecture method, those are the two variables: lecture method, effect of lecture method, and the academic performance. If, for instance, now WAEC result for many years, we find out that there's a failure in WAEC results for many years. So I can carry out research of factor contributing to students' poor performance in Islamic studies over the year. Without giving you information about the factors contributing, you cannot think of possible factors that are correct. It's also another factor you want to give to us. So it's knowledge gap. What we do in research is to bridge knowledge gap, to provide information. You agree with me that if there's a problem, you don't know the cause of problem or the source of the cause of the problem. How do you tackle the problem? How do you think of a possible solution to the problem? So it's not possible. So generally, we are providing information. So it may be information about the cause of a problem or possible solution to a problem. So you are not giving solution. You are only giving information about the possible solution to the problem, or what people know about it. What are the causes of the problem? What can we do to the problem? That's what you are doing. Thank you, Alan. Hope that
Jazakumullah khairan, sir. It's clear now, sir.
Alhamdulillah. So let's be fast. My time is up.
Next question, the microphone will be given to our president for the closing remarks, stroke closing prayer, inshallah, owing to the time factor. Jazakumullah khairan. Then, sir, the floor is all yours.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you very much, Abu Ejid. Jazakumullah khairan. All thanks is due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for giving us the opportunity to carry out this 3 days program from the beginning to today, which is the final day. Today, which is the final day that we are concluding the program. As we conclude our 3-day project writing training today, on behalf of myself and the executive of the National Association of Islamic Studies Students, National Headquarters, we would like to extend our heartfelt gratitude to our esteemed facilitator, Dr. Rahman Abbas Aremu, Islamic Studies lecturer, Department of Art Education, Faculty of Education, University of Lagos. We are particularly grateful for your selfless contribution to our development, sir. As he has generously shared his expertise without charging any fee. We are all going to agree that if we approach any expert to come and give us this training, we must have some odd amount of money to pay for that. But doctor never requested for anything. When we approached him, he just gave us a positive answer. Despite his incredibly busy schedule, as we can see since Monday, he has been busy. Even today by 11, he has to be in a particular place. He still found time to facilitate this training. We appreciate your dedication, sir, and we appreciate your commitment to our growth. You have executed this your responsibility to the best of your ability, and we really appreciate and we are thankful for your tireless efforts, sir. And again, I would also like to express my sincere appreciation to all participants who joined us for this training. Your active participation and commitment have made this program a success. We are grateful for your presence and engagement throughout these 3 days. As the national president of the National Association of Islamic Studies Students, as the national president of the National Association of Islamic Studies students. I'm thrilled to see the progress we have made over these 3 days. I'm confident that the knowledge and skills acquisition we empower youth. Our able doctor empower us to write impactful projects. I'm sure it will be of benefit. It will be benefit. It's going to benefit us, and it will be a benefit to our communities and help us in advancing the course of Islamic studies and our other areas of studies. So this information quickly from the NEC National Executive Council, that's for those participants that are interested in obtaining a certificate of participation. So there will be a certificate of participation, and we would like anyone who interested in getting a certificate to get in touch with any of the admins. Why we are noting, we should also note that anyone who didn't participate, because attendance is duly noted. We have been taking attendance since on Monday, and only those who are participating and requested for certificates will be receiving one, inshallah. So in conclusion, I urge every one of us to stay connected, share our experiences, and continue to support one another in our academic and professional pursuits. Let's strive for excellence and make Naiss proud. Thank you, our able facilitator, Dr. Rahman Abbas, Aremu Jazakumullah Khairan, for your invaluable contribution, despite your busy schedule. And thank you to our participants, both Islamic studies students and those that are not offering Islamic studies. Thank you for your participation. May Allah reward you with your efforts and grant you success in all your endeavors. Thank you very much one more time. May our efforts not be in vain. Thank you very much. Wassalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.